You've probably felt it for most of your life, even if you never had the words for it. That quiet sense that your mind doesn't move at the same speed or in the same direction as everyone else's. You notice patterns others overlook. You feel emotions more layered, more complex. You ask questions people don't seem interested in asking. And somewhere along the way, you may have started wondering if that meant something was wrong with you. Psychology suggests something very different. Highly intelligent minds often don't stand out in obvious ways. They don't always shine through grades, titles, or loud confidence. Instead, they live inwardly. They process deeply. They reflect before reacting. And because of that, they're often misunderstood, labeled as distant, overly sensitive, or strange. If you've ever felt lonely, even when surrounded by people, bored by conversations others enjoy, or exhausted by a world that feels too shallow, this isn't a flaw in your character. It may be a sign of how your mind is wired. In this video, we're not talking about IQ scores or academic success. We're talking about subtle psychological traits that often appear in people with unusually deep intelligence and awareness. Traits that don't always look impressive on the outside, but quietly shape how you think, feel, and experience life. As you listen, you may recognize yourself, and for the first time, instead of feeling broken, you may finally understand why you've always felt different. Part 1. You talk to yourself more than others do. You may have noticed that your mind is almost never quiet. Even in silence, there's a steady inner conversation happening. You replay moments from the day, rethink what you said, imagine what you could have said differently. You explain ideas to yourself, break them down, rebuild them, and sometimes argue with your own thoughts until something finally feels clear. To people on the outside, this can look like overthinking, but psychology understands it very differently. Talking to yourself is a sign of deep self-awareness. It means your mind doesn't just experience thoughts, it observes them. Psychologists call this metacognition, the ability to step back and examine your own thinking. When you talk to yourself, you're not lost in your head. You're actively organizing information, regulating emotions, and solving problems internally before they spill outward. This is why you may not react instantly in emotional situations. While others respond on impulse, your mind pauses to process. You question why you feel the way you do. You search for meaning instead of relief. That internal dialogue becomes a private space where you can be honest without judgment, where you can explore thoughts you're not ready to share with the world. Self-talk also helps you refine your identity. You're constantly checking in with yourself, asking if your actions align with your values. That's why shallow decisions feel uncomfortable to you. Your mind wants coherence, not convenience. If you've ever felt misunderstood because you take longer to speak, longer to decide, or longer to move on, it's not because you're slow, it's because your thoughts travel deeper before they surface. Your inner voice isn't a weakness, it's evidence of a mind that listens carefully, especially to itself. Part 2. You get bored easily, even with good things. You may find yourself losing interest in situations that are supposed to feel satisfying. A stable routine, a comfortable life, conversations that everyone else seems to enjoy. On the surface, everything looks fine, yet inside, there's a quiet restlessness that won't go away. This can make you question yourself. You might wonder why gratitude doesn't automatically bring fulfillment for you. Psychology explains this as a need for mental depth, not a lack of appreciation. Highly intelligent minds crave complexity. Your brain isn't stimulated by repetition or predictability for long. Once you understand something, once the pattern becomes clear, your mind moves on. What excites you isn't novelty for novelty's sake, it's meaning, challenge, and growth. Without those, even good things begin to feel empty. This is why small talk drains you faster than silence. It's why routine tasks feel heavier than they should. It's not that you want chaos or constant excitement. You want engagement that stretches your thinking and invites curiosity. When that's missing, boredom becomes your mind's way of signaling that you're understimulated, not ungrateful. This trait is often misunderstood as restlessness or dissatisfaction. In reality, it's your mind refusing to settle for the shallow version of life. You're not chasing more, you're searching for deep, and until something challenges you emotionally or intellectually, your interest will always fade faster than most. Part 3. You feel different in groups, even when you're liked. You can be surrounded by people, included in conversations, even genuinely welcomed, and still feel a quiet sense of separation. It's not that anyone is unkind to you. It's not that you don't belong. Yet something inside you remains slightly out of sync, as if you're present, but operating on a different frequency. Psychology points to heightened perception and emotional awareness. When you're in a group, you're not just listening to words. You're picking up on tone shifts, body language, pauses, and unspoken tension. You sense what people mean, not just what they say. While others are relaxed in the flow of conversation, your mind is reading the layers beneath it. This creates a subtle distance, not because you feel superior, but because you're processing more information at once. You may also notice that group dynamics feel limiting to you. Conversations move quickly, often staying on the surface. There's little room for nuance, reflection, or honesty. You might hold back, not because you're shy, but because what you want to say doesn't fit the moment. So you listen more than you speak, and when you do speak, you choose your words carefully. This can lead to feeling misunderstood, even when you're liked. People may sense your depth without fully accessing it. That quiet difference you feel isn't rejection. It's the result of awareness meeting an environment that isn't built for it. You're not disconnected because you can't connect. You're disconnected because you connect too deeply for crowded spaces. Part 4. You think deeply about things others ignore. You often find your mind drifting toward questions that don't seem to interest the people around you. You think about why certain social rules exist, why people chase specific goals, why success is defined the way it is. You reflect on meaning, purpose, and truth, even in ordinary moments. While others move forward without hesitation, you pause to understand what you're actually moving toward. Psychology links this tendency to high abstract thinking and moral reasoning. You're not satisfied with "that's just how it is." Your mind wants to know why. You question assumptions most people accept automatically, not to challenge authority, but to find coherence. You want your beliefs, choices, and values to align. When they don't, it creates inner tension that you can't easily ignore. This depth of thinking can feel isolating. You may hesitate to share your thoughts because they don't always land easily. Others may change the subject, joke it away, or misunderstand your intention. Over time, you learn to keep many of these reflections private, letting them shape you quietly rather than loudly. But this trait is not overthinking, it's integrity of mind. You don't live on autopilot. You live intentionally, and even when no one sees the questions you carry, they influence how you move through the world with awareness, empathy, and a deeper sense of responsibility for your choices. Part 5. You daydream, but it's not escapism. Your mind often wanders when you're doing ordinary things. While your body is present, your thoughts travel elsewhere, imagining conversations, replaying moments, or exploring possibilities that haven't happened yet. From the outside, this can look like distraction. From the inside, it feels purposeful, even necessary. Psychology recognizes this kind of daydreaming as a form of mental simulation. You're not trying to escape reality. You're trying to understand it. Your brain uses imagination to test ideas, predict outcomes, and explore emotional scenarios before they occur. This is how you prepare, create, and gain insight without taking unnecessary risks in the real world. Daydreaming also gives you emotional clarity. When life moves too fast, your mind slows things down internally. You revisit experiences to process how they affected you. You imagine different responses, not out of regret, but out of learning. That's why insights often arrive when you're not actively searching for them. This trait is common in creative and highly intelligent minds. Your thoughts need space to roam, so they can connect ideas in ways logic alone can't. What others see as zoning out is often where your most meaningful realizations begin. Part 6. You crave solitude, not because you're broken. You don't avoid people because you dislike them. You step away because being around others for too long drains something inside you. After social interaction, even positive ones, you feel the need to retreat, to sit in silence, to let your thoughts settle again. This isn't loneliness, it's restoration. Psychology explains this as the need for mental and emotional regulation. your mind absorbs more than most. You pick up on moods, words, expressions, and subtle emotional shifts. All of that information has to go somewhere. Solitude gives you the space to process what you've taken in, to return to yourself without external noise shaping your thoughts. In solitude, you don't feel empty, you feel whole. Your mind slows down enough to reconnect with what matters. You think more clearly, you feel more grounded. This is where you regain balance, not where you lose. Because this need is misunderstood, you may have been labeled distant, aloof, or antisocial, but your desire for solitude isn't a flaw, it's a sign of inner richness. You don't need constant stimulation because your inner world is already alive. And when you choose to be alone, it's not because you're running away, it's because you're listening. Conclusion: if you've seen yourself reflected in these traits, there's something important you deserve to hear clearly. You were never meant to fit perfectly into a loud, fast, surface-level world. Your mind moves differently because it's designed for depth, not noise. What once made you feel isolated, misunderstood, or out of place is often the very thing that gives you clarity, empathy, and inner strength. Psychology doesn't see these traits as weaknesses to fix. It sees them as signs of a mind that observes before reacting, reflects before deciding, and feels before dismissing. You don't rush to belong, you wait to understand. That patience, even when it feels lonely, builds a quiet independence that many people never develop. You don't need constant validation because you've learned to sit with yourself. You don't chase every voice because you trust your own. And while the world may not always reward depth immediately, it depends on people like you to bring meaning where others bring speed. So if you've ever felt different, take a moment to reframe that story. Different doesn't mean broken. Different often means aware, and awareness is one of the rarest forms of intelligence there is. You're not behind in life. You're simply walking a deeper path.